The year is 1981. In a small airport in New Delhi, a private jet stands ready for takeoff. Its passenger? None other than OSHO, the controversial spiritual leader whose teachings have captivated thousands and angered many more. As he boards the plane, leaving behind his sprawling ashram in Pune, one question hangs in the air. What is he running from? This moment marks the beginning of a spiritual odyssey that will span continents, challenge governments, and ultimately redefine the boundaries of spiritual movements in the modern world. Join us as we unravel the mystery behind Osho's hasty departure and the secrets he may have been trying to keep hidden. The rise of a controversial guru. From humble beginnings as a philosophy professor to becoming one of India's most polarizing spiritual figures, Osho's journey was nothing short of extraordinary. Born Chandra Mohan Jain in 1931, he developed a fascination with spirituality and existential questions from an early age. As a young man, he pursued academic studies in philosophy, eventually becoming a professor at Jabalpur University. But the confines of academia couldn't contain his growing spiritual ambitions. In 1970, Osho underwent a radical transformation, shedding his birth name and academic persona to emerge as Bhagwan Sri Rajneesh. This metamorphosis marked the beginning of his controversial career as a spiritual guru. His teachings, a potent blend of Eastern mysticism and Western psychology, challenged the very foundations of traditional Indian values. Osho's philosophies on spirituality, sexuality, and materialism sent shockwaves through Indian society. He advocated for a new kind of spirituality that embraced rather than renounced worldly pleasures. Life should be a balance between the material and the spiritual, he often said, encouraging his followers to find enlightenment not through asceticism, but through fully experiencing life's joys and sorrows. His views on sexuality were particularly scandalous in conservative India. Osho promoted sexual liberation as a path to spiritual growth, earning him the moniker sex guru in the Western press. He argued that suppressing natural desires led to psychological distress and hindered spiritual development. This radical stance attracted thousands of seekers from around the world, eager to explore a spirituality that didn't demand denial of their basic human instincts. As Osho's following grew, so did his ashram in Pune. What began as a small meditation center in 1974 rapidly expanded into a sprawling spiritual resort. By the late 1970s, the ashram was attracting tens of thousands of visitors annually, many from Western countries. The influx of foreign devotees, with their liberal attitudes and financial resources, further fueled the ashram's growth and Osho's influence. However, this rapid expansion and unconventional teachings didn't go unnoticed. The stark contrast between the opulent lifestyle within the ashram walls and the poverty outside began to draw criticism. Local residents and politicians viewed the ashram with increasing suspicion, seeing it as a corrupting influence on Indian youth and a threat to traditional values. As Osho's influence reached its zenith, so too did the brewing storm of controversy surrounding him. His provocative statements on religion and politics ruffled feathers in high places. The Indian government, initially content to ignore the eccentric guru, began to take a closer look at his operations. Questions about the ashram's finances, visa irregularities for foreign devotees, and allegations of drug use within the commune started to surface. The mounting pressure from Indian society and government was reaching a boiling point. As we delve deeper into Osho's story, we'll uncover the specific allegations and scrutiny that would ultimately force this controversial guru to make a decision that would change the course of his movement forever. The pressure cooker. Allegations and scrutiny, 90 Rolls-Royces, opulent displays of wealth, radical teachings on sexuality. These were the hallmarks of Osho's ashram that captivated and scandalized India in equal measure. But beneath the surface, a perfect storm was brewing. What forces would ultimately conspire to topple this controversial guru from his throne? As Osho's influence grew, so did the scrutiny. The Indian government, once content to ignore the eccentric philosopher-turned-guru, began to take a closer look at his operations. Whispers of financial impropriety started to circulate, painting a picture of an organization that was far from the spiritual utopia it claimed to be. Reports surfaced of large sums of money disappearing without explanation, raising eyebrows about the legality of financial practices within the ashram. The allegations weren't limited to mere mismanagement. There were claims of misappropriated funds and mandatory donations from followers, suggesting a system of financial coercion rather than voluntary spiritual giving. As complaints from former devotees emerged, the situation took on a more sinister tone. These ex-followers spoke of coerced donations and potential violations of foreign exchange regulations, adding fuel to the growing fire of suspicion. But it wasn't just the money that drew attention. Osho's lavish lifestyle, particularly his collection of around 90 Rolls-Royces, stood in stark contrast to the typical image of Indian gurus. This ostentatious display of wealth, coupled with his radical teachings on sexuality and spirituality, created a perfect storm of public outrage and media criticism. The cultural backlash was intense, with many viewing Osho as a corrupting influence on Indian youth and a threat to traditional values. As the pressure mounted, the investigations intensified. The Indian government, spurred by growing concerns over tax evasion and unaccounted wealth, began digging deeper into the ashram's finances. The scrutiny extended beyond mere financial matters, encompassing visa irregularities for foreign devotees and allegations of drug use within the commune. For Osho, the walls were closing in. The once revered spiritual leader now faced the very real threat of imprisonment on charges related to financial impropriety or moral conduct. The pressure cooker environment had reached its boiling point, and Osho knew he had to act. In 1981, faced with mounting legal pressures and the looming specter of imprisonment, Osho made a decision that would alter the course of his movement forever. Under the guise of seeking medical treatment, he boarded a plane bound for the United States, leaving behind his sprawling ashram and the storm of controversy that threatened to engulf him. But as we'll soon discover, this escape from India was only the beginning of a new chapter in Osho's tumultuous journey. The Great Escape, from Pune to Oregon. From the ashes of scandal in India rose an even more ambitious project, a self-sustaining city in the heart of rural America. But as Osho's followers built their dream in the Oregon desert, were they aware of the powder keg they were sitting on? The story of Rajneeshpuram is a tale of idealism, power, and a collision course with the very society it sought to escape. In 1981, Osho arrived in the United States, ostensibly for medical treatment. However, his true intentions soon became clear as he and his inner circle set their sights on establishing a new spiritual haven. They found their promised land in the form of a 64,000-acre ranch in the remote Oregon desert. This vast expanse of arid land would soon transform into Rajneeshpuram, a commune that embodied Osho's vision of a utopian society. The ambitious plans for Rajneeshpuram were staggering in scope. Within a few short years, what was once barren rangeland blossomed into a thriving city of 7,000 people, complete with its own infrastructure, schools, and even an airport. The rapid growth of the commune was a testament to the dedication and resourcefulness of Osho's followers, who worked tirelessly to build their new home. However, the establishment of Rajneeshpuram was not without its challenges. The local residents of Wasco County, Oregon, viewed the newcomers with suspicion and alarm. The commune's practices, including dynamic meditation and a liberal approach to sexuality, stood in stark contrast to the conservative values of rural Oregon. As the Rajneeshis sought to expand their influence, tensions with the surrounding community escalated. Legal battles soon followed. The commune faced accusations of voter manipulation as they attempted to gain control over local politics. State authorities questioned the legitimacy of Rajneeshpuram as a city, citing concerns over the separation of church and state. These conflicts only served to deepen the divide between the Rajneeshis and their neighbors. Despite these external pressures, life within Rajneeshpuram continued to evolve. Osho's followers remained deeply committed to his vision, pouring their energy into creating a sanctuary for his radical teachings. Yet, as the community grew, so did the complexities of managing such a large-scale experiment in communal living. Beneath the surface of Rajneeshpuram's rapid success, darker aspects of life in the commune began to emerge. The power structure within the community became increasingly complex, with key figures like Ma Anand Sheela wielding significant influence. As we'll soon discover, this concentration of power would lead to actions that would ultimately threaten the very existence of Osho's American utopia. The unraveling, crimes, conspiracies, and collapse. While Rajneeshpuram seemed to flourish on the surface, a storm was gathering on the horizon. What pushed Osho's followers to cross the line from spiritual seekers to criminal conspirators? The events that followed would not only threaten the commune's existence, but also challenge everything its members believed about their charismatic leader. As tensions escalated between Rajneeshpuram and the surrounding communities, a darker side of the spiritual utopia began to emerge. The commune's leadership, particularly Ma Anand Sheela, Osho's personal secretary, became increasingly paranoid and aggressive in their efforts to protect and expand their influence. This shift in attitude led to a series of criminal activities that would ultimately spell doom for the community. The most shocking of these crimes was the largest bioterror attack in US history at that time. In a bid to influence local elections, members of the commune poisoned salad bars in nearby restaurants with salmonella. This act of biological warfare sickened hundreds of people and revealed the lengths to which some followers were willing to go to maintain their power. But the salmonella attack was just the tip of the iceberg. Under Sheela's leadership, the commune engaged in a range of illegal activities, including wiretapping and attempted murder. The once peaceful spiritual retreat had transformed into a hotbed of criminal conspiracy, with key figures orchestrating schemes that seemed far removed from Osho's teachings of love and enlightenment. As these criminal activities came to light, questions arose about Osho's level of involvement. Was he aware of the actions being taken in his name? Or had his inner circle, drunk on power and paranoia, gone rogue? The answers to these questions would have profound implications for the future of Rajneeshpuram and Osho's legacy. In the aftermath of the bioterror attack, the carefully constructed facade of Rajneeshpuram began to crumble. Sheela fled the commune, leaving behind a trail of evidence that would implicate her in numerous crimes. Osho, in an attempt to distance himself from the scandal, claimed ignorance of the criminal activities occurring within his community. However, this plea of innocence did little to shield him from the legal storm that was about to break. The US government, already suspicious of the commune, now had concrete evidence of wrongdoing. Osho found himself arrested on charges of immigration fraud, specifically for allegedly arranging sham marriages to allow foreign disciples to remain in the country. The legal battle that ensued would ultimately lead to his deportation from the United States in 1985, marking the final chapter in the tumultuous saga of Rajneeshpuram. As we reflect on the rise and fall of Osho's American utopia, we're left to grapple with complex questions about the nature of spiritual leadership and the corrupting influence of power. How did a movement founded on principles of love and enlightenment devolve into criminal conspiracy? And what does this cautionary tale teach us about the dangers of unchecked charisma and blind devotion? As we reflect on Osho's tumultuous journey from revered guru to controversial fugitive, we're left with a complex legacy that continues to spark debate and fascination. The rise and fall of Rajneeshpuram serves as a cautionary tale about the potential for corruption in spiritual movements. Yet Osho's teachings still resonate with many seekers today. How do we reconcile the profound wisdom in his philosophy with the dark events that unfolded under his leadership? Perhaps the enduring appeal of Osho's ideas lies in their ability to challenge conventional thinking and offer a unique perspective on spirituality and human nature. Despite the controversies, his emphasis on embracing life fully and finding balance between the material and spiritual worlds continues to attract followers. The rebranding of his teachings under the name Osho rather than Rajneesh reflects an attempt to separate the message from the messenger's troubled history. Ultimately, Osho's story raises profound questions about the nature of spiritual leadership and the dangers of unchecked charisma. Can we extract valuable insights from flawed teachers? How do we navigate the fine line between inspiration and manipulation in our quest for enlightenment? As we grapple with these questions, Osho's legacy serves as a reminder of the complexities inherent in human spirituality and the ongoing search for meaning in an imperfect world.